and this is Wise on Wednesdays. Welcome. This is something very different for me. Look, I'm even trying to be very professional in doing something that's out of um, the norm. Um, Trying to show a little bit more of me, and I hope it's of interest. If you have any questions that I can answer as to whys and expand on, please let me know, because I'd like to have a little bit of a flow with these. I kind of know what I want to do, but anyhow. So, first whys on Wednesdays is the question of why we moved. And it's a question that's been asked a number of times in the last 11 months, because we moved now 11 months ago, and that's by those on Instagram, friends, and family. I was at a funeral just a few weeks ago, and it was, why did you move? Your house was great. Why did you move? So I thought I would delve into it a little bit more, and also question myself a bit. So let's go back. 2014, we moved into our home in Penge. It was a lovely maisonette flat house, all of those. Estate agents couldn't really, or didn't really want to put it into a bucket there, a list, because it was all of those. It was a 4 bedroomed property over 3 floors. So you had a ground floor, raised ground floor, first floor, and a second floor. 4 bedrooms, but we made it into three, as we took we took part in a show with Sarah Beanie called Renovate, Don't Relocate. Poor Rob will never do a show again. I loved it. But this is what the house looked like when, or a few pictures of the house when we moved in, um, and also on selling, what it looked, how it changed. So we bought 2014, Penge, perfect location. It was in the middle of both train stations. My daughter was going to the Grey Coats Hospital School in Victoria. We work in London Bridge. Perfect location. The house is great. It was leasehold, had a communal garden. Did not mind that, and it was a large garden. Didn't mind that. Um, but I suppose when it got years on, when people don't want to help with the communal garden, it starts to wear down on you. But yeah, it was. We had a lovely home. I've always been hands on, so I did a lot of. So I suppose the question: you've done so much work, why leave? Because it was time to, needed a new challenge. Wanted somewhere with bones, good bones. I I suppose I'm a bit fussy, and Rob is, in terms of what we're looking for. I like Victorian homes with period features. I think I have by osmosis, as a baby and youngster, family grew up in um, Northcote Road, Battersea. I still have family members there. And I think I have, just as I said, by osmosis, right? Have an appreciation of these wonderful homes. My granddad had a really large house in Wandsworth. Um, just as a kind of sideline here, my mother back in the 80s, my mum and dad bought a house in Tooting. That was our family home. We still have that. But in the 80s, my mother wanted to buy a house in Sisters Avenue. And if you know Sisters Avenue, Battersea, it's opposite Battersea Arts Centre. She wanted to buy a second home. My dad didn't want to. In those days, you needed your husband's um, approval to do so. So we didn't buy. She didn't buy. My mother was but before her time in terms of generational wealth and um, set in, I suppose, set in what was needed for her grandchildren. Life may have been very different if she had bought Sisters a house in Sisters Avenue. If you don't know Sisters Avenue, take a look. Please do. Battersea. So by osmosis, I know the types of properties I like. I have a vision, so I'm very particular, and with that, Rob is as well. And yeah, it was time after it was um, a good number of years. I think we started, or I started looking back in 2022. I remember seeing a few things, even this house, this flat is it's linked to a cottage. There's a cottage. We even saw that, and it just wasn't right for us. Too much work. The other thing, we didn't want a huge renovation, just not for us. A slow over time. Um, what were the key things needed? A garden, um, and here we effectively have half ownership of the garden, and it's a big garden. There's a lot to do. It backs onto some woods as well. I'm London born and bred. Yes, I like nature though, but it's the garden's a lot of work. Um, Stairs, wanted to reduce the stairs, but the stairs are reduced, but a little, but they're still stairs. But they're easier. They're not as deep as Penge. Still accessible and just a really lovely area, close to my trainer. Um, I would drive wherever she was in any case. But yes, I wanted things close. We wanted a nice area. Okay, so those were the main things. I remember 2024, no, maybe 23. We'd put in an offer for a flat. The staircase was wonderful, but we didn't get that. I was upset, um, but yeah, it wasn't to be. So December 2024, I was having an operation on my hand, which meant time off work, which meant, oh, what am I doing with myself? Let me look on Rightmove again. And I saw this flat was up for sale. Came to visit by myself a couple of times, and I knew this was it. This was where this was us. I have to admit, it took a bit of convincing for Rob and my daughter Acacia because they were very settled. They couldn't. I needed a business case. I needed to put the white paper in and build my business case to them for them to see and for to come and visit, for them to see what I saw in terms of potential. Not only potential, and I don't mean potential in um, making money, um, but just a, a way to live that would be comfortable, that I can make it our own. It was beautifully decorated by the previous tenant, which is Anna Jacobs, who is a designer and artist. It's not us, but I can appreciate it was beautiful, beautiful, bright. Um, but there was, I wasn't, I could see that there was work that needed to be done, bare bones types of work. Was I scared? Yes, a little. Um, Older houses, what are you going to uncover? But we knew this. We both knew this coming in. Few shocks that have happened, not major ones, but yeah, it we knew that this had huge potentials for us. And I have to say, from seeing, from viewing, from saying yes, this is it, I basically manifested this move. I would go to the gym silly o'clock in the morning, and instead of coming straight home to get my day on, I would bypass the house, the flat, as though I was coming home. And that was for months, absolute months. So we put an offer in, accepted, happy. Our house had sold really quickly as well, happy with that offer. Um, then we got the call that another offer had been, or an offer had been put on the table and it was accepted. So we tried to match it. Our buyers, even, they were lovely, honestly, lovely young couple. They upped theirs to help us to match it, but we couldn't. Apparently, it was something like £85,000 more. We just couldn't match that. So very despondent, very despondent. I was still making my way via the flat home though. I didn't want to, I did not want to give up hope, right? So I was still doing that for a while. Um, and a short time after, 10 days actually, um, we got a call to say that it's back on the market. The offer had been withdrawn. Now, this is a bummer part in that because we had increased our offer, our buyer, not buyer, our seller didn't want it to go back to the original offer. We had to up our offer. Our buyers, we couldn't do that, right? We had accepted their offer, principle of it. We were happy with that offer. Um, yeah, so we and maybe did we do the right thing? I don't know. You tell me. We didn't increase our offer. We increased our offer. We didn't ask our buyers to increase the offer. So then started the game of conveyancing. It's awful, absolutely awful. There was a point when Rob and I almost said, "Okay, it's enough. This is just too much." There was, because by that time Penge was share of freehold. This was still leasehold, and lease extension needed to happen. Um, the amount of forms TN, TRN1, LEP1, which um, that took time. We also had to battle with our mortgage because we had hoped to port the mortgage, but mistake on my part. I hadn't been keeping a close eye on my report. There was a default from Barclays, which I had to fight to get off. They admitted that they had put it on there incorrectly. They cleared it quickly, but not quick enough. They paid. They even, compensated me some funds. But we needed to move quickly, so again we lost out on that. Um, so we must really want the flat, right? Um, yeah, that that was a trying time, and what I would say of that lesson learned, to keep an eye on my R um, credit file rating. Rob was also going into contracting as well, which doesn't help. Although IT contracting is good financially, on paper it means diddly squat. But we were, surprisingly, because we are now in our 50s, Rob's closer to 60, I'm mid 50s, able to show our pension contributions and our state pension contributions, that we can't pay anything more into it, our private pension. So I think if you're going for a mortgage in your 50s, that is something that can help sway things as well. Hasn't been a easy road coming in, but I know it's the right decision. We both know. We've spoken about it, and spoken about me doing these Whys on Wednesdays and what I'm starting with. He's happy that we've moved. My daughter's happy we moved. There's still a lot of work to do, so hopefully I can take you on the journey. I have started some of the changes, which we're doing together. I think Penge, our Penge home, I did a lot. I was a lot hands on doing things. I haven't got the time. I haven't got the flexibility, the mobility to get into small. Oh, my knees will tell me to do one if I said let's do parquet flooring right now. Um, so yeah, we're doing this very much together. I have the ideas. He says, no, the measurements aren't correct. So we're working together, although I'm leading still, which is fine. So yeah, that's why we moved. In rounding it all up, it was time. I think that's the biggest one. When you know it's time, it's time. I suppose the same with work. If you're leaving a job, you know it's time. It was time. We wanted a new area, wanted it still vibrant, to be able to get to central London and work easily, that we can grow into. Stairs, well, not too much compromise on that, and that there was greenery. And as I look out of this window here, I have a tree that is one of my favorite trees. It's like a bonsai tree, but it's high. The garden is filling up with green. Um, there's a lot of work to do in there, and generally there's a lot of work which we're not scared of. So, in essence, that's why we moved. Um, yeah, I hope that all made sense. And as I've said in the beginning, if there are any whys, please let me know. I think I will be I will be possibly looking at bathrooms on our slow renovation.